but now that I am an adult, like it's funny / frustrating to me how many Americans rave about the American version of The Office, and I think that the British version is so superior, because I feel like the American one falls into that trap that you kind of talked about, it being a bit overacted, a little over the top, falling into these conventions. Whereas I thought personally that the British one could be perceived as dramatic acting, where funny things happened versus being terribly cartoonish, you know?
There's the thing that has always seemed weird to me, because in the UK, The Office comes out of a television tradition that didn't exist in the US. So, of course, reality television, all those kinds of things. But actually, there was this docu-soap tradition in UK television in the 90s, with loads and loads and loads of them about things like driving schools and stuff like that. So very mundane settings, and you would do documentaries about them, and the people who were on them became massive stars. And they kind of use soap opera conventions, but they're not. But again, that's difficult because soap opera has a very different meaning in the UK from what it does in the US, and comes out of a realist tradition, whereas the US, it comes out of a melodrama tradition. So that term docu-soap has different connotations in the UK than it does in the States. So I think The Office in the UK was able to kind of be a smaller, quieter program, because it was aping a load of programming that had just happened on British television and was basically dominating British television, which was a bit over the top, but was also very mundane and about ordinary people. Just doing their very kind of ordinary life. Say one was about a driving school, and the person who passed their test became a massive star in the UK. And it was just a series of somebody trying to pass a driving test. That was it. Went on for months. And I kind of love that British television could see that as entertainment. But the US didn't have that tradition. And so it seems to me that the kind of, I mean, it's funny, The Office doesn't parody that tradition. It just recreates it. It doesn't mock it or parody it in the way in which, mock documentaries like Spinal Tap very definitely mock the thing that they're recreating. The Office doesn't. It just recreates it. It's not trying to say anything about that form of programming. It just uses it. But America didn't have that tradition. And so, one, it kind of amazes me that the American version made sense to American audiences, because the thing it was recreating didn't exist. Mm-hmm. But I also wonder if that's why they had to be a bit more comedic, because you didn't have this other genre for the program to hold on to. So the only one you have got is sitcom. I've not watched much of the American Office. And I think it's just because I similarly really love the British version, and it's just odd to watch a remake of a thing. That's all. So I've not kind of seen much of it. It's interesting because it's pretty much, the only example of the past goodness knows how many years of remakes across the pond that have worked, because they always fail. But the one everyone hangs on to is The Office, and go, we can do this again.
Romance threw itself off the 30th floor. Get up,